Hi there, students. Premise. A premise. Okay, a premise is an assumption to base a theory or an argument on. So, for example, if we start with the premise that the Earth is flat, then it's very logical that if you go far enough to the west, you will fall off the edge. Okay, so a premise is a basic assumption. It's a postulate, something that you assume, and then from that you can deduce or infer other things. So you can use it to base a theory or an argument or a system on. But your premise can be right and your premise can be wrong. It's like a hypothesis. So in a court, for example, the premise is that the accused is innocent until found guilty. So if we start with the premise that the accused is innocent, why did he run away? Okay, why did he run away from the scene of the crime? Okay, or maybe another premise says that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It says that the energy in the universe is finite and unchanging. Okay, maybe that premise is true and we can deduce and infer many other things from that, but maybe it's not. For example, Newtonian physics starts with a premise. However, that premise is not valid when we start looking at Einsteinian physics. Okay, so a premise is a base for a system of logic, a base from which you can infer or deduce other things. But as I said, your premise might be correct and it might be wrong. Okay, the origin of this comes from Latin again. We've got prae, which means before, and mittere, to send. So something that sends before, something that comes before. It's the basis or the basic assumption that you make before acting. So if we start with the premise that this is a very profitable business, then the conclusion is we are going to make lots of money. But who knows, is it a profitable business or not? And that's your assumption, that's your premise. Notice a premise is quite a formal word, yeah? I would say maybe 6.5, even 7 on a scale of formality. So this is a word that you need to use in your written work when writing an essay for an exam or something like that, okay? Could you use it in the pub? I guess you could use it in the pub, but it does sound a little bit formal, yeah? So if you start from a premise, then you can make conclusions. If you start with the premise that English is easy to learn, you're going to be very disappointed, okay? Because the premise in that case is not true. It's not an easy thing to learn. Anyway, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Premise. Notice the pronunciation.